With this year being so overwhelming and a little bit rough, if we can just be honest, one thing that I have really learned is the importance of the energy that you carry. The reality is, everything is energy. A lot of times we overcomplicate it, but I'm just going to simplify it. Everything is energy. And the way that energy works is the energy level you're vibrating at is what you're going to attract more of. So, for example, if you're vibrating at an energetic state of anger, frustration, bitterness, overwhelm, all those things, you're going to attract more things that make you overwhelmed, bitter, frustrated, angry, all those emotions. On the flip side, if you're vibrating at an energetic state of gratitude and just really embracing being appreciative of things that are going well in your life, you're going to vibrate and attract more things that make you feel grateful. And so when I learned this, I started to really hone in and focus on gratitude. Gratitude became a regular thing that I incorporated into my day-to-day schedule. Literally, I wake up, I pray, and then I list the things I'm grateful for before I even let my foot hit the ground, because it's so important to hold that high energy, to hold that high vibe. It's interesting, but I get people who always come to me and they'll say, I'm really attracted to your energy. And I didn't understand that in the beginning, but it's really because I'm being cognizant about what energetic state I'm vibrating at to attract more of those good things into my life. And so today, one of the things that I wanted to take a moment to share is 5 things that I'm grateful for this year. And specifically this year, because it's easy to focus on all of the things that have gone wrong. It's easy to think of all the reasons that you don't have to be grateful or all the reasons that you're frustrated. But if we shift our perspective and we begin to lean in to the reasons that we're grateful, we end up attracting more things to be grateful for. Now, I'm going to be honest. I could probably name a million different things that I'm grateful for, but I'm not going to do that because we would be here forever, and that's not fair. So I kind of honed in on the top 5 things I'm grateful for, and I'll be honest, it was hard. There are a lot of things that I'm grateful for, but I wanted to really give you guys the tools, strategies, and insight into why you need to incorporate gratitude into your life, why it's so important. And if you're struggling to identify, well, how do I make gratitude a regular practice? How do I incorporate more gratitude? My pastor said something that has stuck with me all these years later. And he said, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things that you thanked God for yesterday? And every time I think of that, I remember that I have so many things to be grateful for, even if there's small things that I overlook. And so I remember that I don't want to wake up tomorrow without this, and naming them, different things. So how can I show my appreciation and gratitude towards those things each and every day? And in turn, I operate from a higher level by focusing on gratitude. So let's talk about the things that I'm grateful for this year. And the reason I want to share this is because a lot of this applies to us as a whole, but a lot of it can make you get in touch with the things that you've probably overlooked. So the first thing that I'm grateful for is I'm grateful for the pandemic and the way in which some of the racial inequality things have surfaced. And the reason that I say that is because with this pandemic, with this racial inequality issue and everything that was happening this year, it has forced a lot of things to come to the surface, things that we have stuffed down, things that we have tried to ignore, things that we have tried to overlook. And one thing that I know, when you're confronting those difficult things, it introduces you to parts of yourself that you have never met before. And when you meet those parts of yourself that you have never met before, you have an opportunity to dig deep to figure out how you can begin to make shifts and changes as it relates to those things. So for me, the pandemic forced me to slow down. I'm a person that's go, 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 go. And I struggle with this concept or idea that I don't always have to be doing something. I don't always have to be producing something, and that it's okay to slow down. And when I met that part of myself and I confronted that part of myself that I knew was there, but I had kind of pushed down, it forced me to incorporate slowing down as a regular practice again, which in turn actually helped me to increase my productivity. The racial inequality has forced me to have difficult conversations with loved ones, with strangers, to really help us as a whole, to really help the collective, because there needs to be shifts and changes. And so while it has been traumatic, while it has been difficult, while it has been a rough year in regards to these things, I'm grateful for what we're learning. I'm grateful how we're expanding as a collective, and I'm grateful for the shifts and changes that I firmly believe will take place. The second thing that I'm extremely grateful for is total health and safety for my loved ones. If I can be honest, this year has been rough. I lost my brother during this year, and it made me remember the value of just loving on and being around and enjoying your loved ones, because we often overlook that. People get on your nerves or people stress you out and you're like, okay, whatever, like you blow it off. But like having health and safety and protection and coverage is not something we should ever overlook. And so when you think of your loved ones, when you think of those people you care about, hug on them, love them, let them know that you love them, because tomorrow isn't promised. And so we don't need to let a day go by without identifying how grateful we are for those people that are in our life, that we love, that we're close to, that push us, that drive us, that support us, that love us. The third thing I'm grateful for is impact. So I'll be honest, this year, when everything like started off, I was so pumped up. New year, new me, like typical new year. I don't really say new year, new me, but it was a new year and I was excited about it. I had so many things lined up. In fact, I had a huge speaking engagement for the end of March, and we went in a total shutdown the third week of March. So here I am a week away from this huge speaking engagement, which I was so pumped up, so excited. I already bought my ticket, already had an outfit, and it felt like everything came crashing down. And in that moment, I began to like question, like, what direction is my business going to take this year? Like, what route am I headed into? Where am I going? What's getting ready to happen? And while the shutdown, again, I shared earlier, it forced me to slow down. When I slowed down, I began to make some shifts and adjustments in my business so that I could still have an impact even though we were on shutdown. And so I'm so grateful for like Zoom and Skype and Google Voice and social media and YouTube and platforms like that have allowed me to still have an impact even when we're far, far, far away. It's been huge. I've had an opportunity to collaborate with really powerful people. I've had the opportunity to impact women all over the world. I've had the opportunity to bring in new clients, meet new people, and really expand and grow my brand because of these platforms. Just today, I got an email from YouTube saying that I had downloaded 1,922 minutes worth of videos, which equals 32 hours worth of content. And that is literally because I maximize that. One of my biggest goals, one of my biggest desires, one of my biggest dreams when I began my business was impact. How could I impact people all around the world if I'm just little old me in this little tiny space, right? And maximizing these social media platforms helped me to be able to do just that. And I'm so grateful for the people I've been able to connect with, the new people I've engaged with, the people I've been able to collaborate with. I'm just so grateful for how that's been able to expand and increase my overall impact, which I am so, so excited for. That brings me to my fourth thing that I'm so grateful for is my continuous learning. So some people would call me a nerd. I like to call myself a lifelong learner. Excuse my earring. I like to call myself a lifelong learner. I am extremely passionate about learning. I am extremely passionate about continuing to learn. I'm extremely passionate about expanding my knowledge base. And so this year, I really took time to go in depth with things that I'm really passionate about. So I've recently been certified in human design, which I'm learning and really weaving into a lot of the containers that I offer my clients. I've gone even more in depth as it relates to the subconscious mind, because I know that everything is mindset. And I'm using these things to, again, increase my impact. So I'm weaving these things into podcast posts and YouTube videos and live streams and one-on-one calls and courses and group programming and all of these things. Because as I continue to learn, I want to bring this information to my tribe, because I think it's so, so important. It serves nobody if I learn in a vacuum and I just hold it tight and hoard it. I want to be able to explore that with other people and give people the tools that they need to create the success that they desire and deserve. And so I'm so grateful for this continuous opportunity to keep learning. And then my fifth and final for today, like I said, I am so grateful for tons of things, and I could talk to you all day about it, but I really wanted to pick the top 5 things for this moment that I was feeling in this moment. The fifth thing that I'm so grateful for is that I made a year-long commitment to myself. Now, I did not start this the beginning of this year. I started it probably about 3/4 of the way through the year, where I decided that I wanted to 100% commit to myself. And why this is different than anything else is because there have been times where I'll commit to something, but I'm half in and half out. I have my eggs in one basket, have my other eggs in this basket. I have a plan A over here and I have a plan B over here. There is no more plan A and plan B. It is literally, I have a goal, a vision, a dream, a desire, a hope, and an aspiration for my life. And I am 100% committed to seeing this entire thing through. And the reason that I wanted to do this is because it's easy to get consumed in fear. It's easy to get consumed in like frustration. It's easy to get consumed in the, oh, woe, it's me and the what ifs. But I don't want to allow those things to stop me anymore. I'm no longer going to allow limiting beliefs to get in my way. I'm no longer going to allow physical barriers or obstacles to prevent me from showing up for my success. And so for me, what I decided to do is I made a non-negotiable decision to commit to my success and my vision and my dream. And I'll be honest, I've been doing this probably about 3 months now. And there's been moments where it's been so easy. And I'm like, wow, this is so worth it. I'm so glad I'm continuing to step out in fear. I'm so glad I'm stepping out in faith. I'm so glad I'm continuing to show up. But then there's moments where I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? What's happening? Like, this is really hard. But what I know on this journey is that when I experience this, this is going to help me to be able to set an example for other people and to be able to better support my clients. And I believe it's going to increase my success, because as long as we're split-minded, right, where we're halfway over here and halfway over here, we're never going to be able to put our attention and our focus on the things that matter most. And so this year-long commitment that I've been walking you guys through and taking you on this journey has been so enlightening and really so transformational. Just 3 months in, I have already made so much just mindset growth. I've made so much physical growth through this journey, and I'm so excited to continue to commit to it, because one thing that I know is if you don't believe in yourself, how can you convince anyone else to wholeheartedly believe in you? And don't get me wrong, those doubts come up, the frustrations come up. It does get, a lot at some times, but I know that the outcome is so worth it. And another thing that I've learned on my journey through goal setting, through just really doing things that feel uncomfortable in the moment to get to where I want to be, is that sometimes things don't always look the way that we want them to look. But I know that God can show up even in the 11th hour, and we cannot be so quick to throw in the towel in the second or third hour because things aren't going the way that we want them to. We got to keep pressing, trusting that the blessing on the other side makes it so worth it. So I wanted to come and encourage you with this, because these are things that I do every morning. I tune in with myself. I check in with myself, and I ask myself, how am I feeling, and how can I get myself to vibrate at a higher energetic state so that I am carrying that energy with me throughout the entire day and attracting more of that energy into my life, because that's what I desire and that's what I deserve, right? But it's not just me, it's what you desire and it's what you deserve as well. And so incorporating gratitude into your life is huge. It doesn't need to be a long drawn out video like I just did. Maybe you have an accountability partner where you share 5 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's simply your kids. My children and I, every night before we go to bed, we list 3 things that happened great throughout the day. Maybe it's an app that you download. There's the 5-minute journal app that you can download, the things you're grateful for. I have a guide journal that I will link below that you can dive in and journal things that you're grateful for. Maybe it's that you just hold a beautiful rock and list things that you're grateful for. And every time you see that rock, it triggers reasons to be grateful. Whatever it is, I am challenging you to not do gratitude today as you watch this video and check it off your to-do list and go about your day, but to make gratitude a regular practice. Because when you make gratitude a regular practice, you bring in more things to be grateful for. You vibrate at a higher energetic level, and your life begins to transform in ways that you can't even begin to fathom or imagine it. So definitely incorporate that. I hope that you all have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. And I will check in and chat with you all later. And Happy New Year as we're approaching that day very, very soon.